Hello, John, and hello, you. Welcome to In the Lab, presented by Xfinity. Drew Dougherty here inside NRG Stadium. John, the Texans got a big one this Sunday night. They're all big ones, but when you're playing on Sunday Night Football, when it's Battle Red Day, when you're playing one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now, huge. Now, last time out, it was ugly. So I adjust things right here. It was ugly. But I have a sense of calm about this upcoming matchup. That sense of calm comes from knowledge of history. And I know every team's different, and this is a new team, but this happened last year. The Texans went up to New York, got blasted, but then rebounded and did okay after that. I kind of have the same sense. I think that some of the pass protection issues are going to be ameliorated to a degree. I don't think it's going to be like that. I kind of get the sense that the big fella number 12 will be back in the fold. I don't know anything. I'm just guessing this as of, early Wednesday morning before we've seen any practice reports, but I just got a good sense of calm about Sunday Night Football. Am I wrong, John? Should I not be this calm, or should I be panicking?
Well, no, I think there's definitely some in between there. I I know you're not saying that you're calm, like, all's good, all's
No,
well.
no, no, no.
I know you're not saying that.
We don't have the
But
85 Bears here, but I think this
no,
team
no,
is
no,
good.
no. It's funny because the one thing that everybody brings up when you talk about the 85 Bears, and I'll tie these conversations together. Talk about that defense. The defense was tremendous,
A good offense too,
but they
man.
had a stud offensive line. They
Mm-hmm.
were incredible. Keith Van Horn, Jimbo Covert, they were really, really good on the offensive line.
With maybe the
And
greatest running back ever, Walter Payton.
absolutely. So from that standpoint, it's, you know, that's that's the discussion point. Are we going to feel calm when CJ goes back to pass on Sunday night? It's got to change. And my worry, and I said this to Mark the other day, against the Vikings and the Packers, those two teams got to CJ by some magic.
Yeah.
They used their schemes. They used different kinds of sim pressures. They did a lot of things that aren't normally seen from an NFL defense. It's more a college. It was almost more a college defense. You're seeing more of those concepts kind of filter up, but you just don't see it that much. And then you combine some pretty athletic fronts and front sevens with some smart safeties in both Minnesota and Green Bay, and you got, I don't say outthought, but it was a problem. What worries me a little bit the other night against the Jets was that was just kind of one on one. We beat you. Now there were some twists and some stunts that they ran, but Will McDonald, Hassan Reddick, Quentin Williams, Solomon Thomas, Michael Clemens, that's as good a pass rush, just pure one-on-one pass rush as you're going to find. And it's really good on the interior. Now, for as good as the Lions are up front, they don't have quite that. Now, they did add Zadarius
I
Smith.
was gonna say let's compare this front that the Texans are gonna
Yeah.
go against with what we saw out of Green Bay, out of the New York Jets, because we got our old pal DJ Reader up there. He's
Mm-hmm.
getting about 50% of the snaps, looking
Yeah.
at his snap counts roughly. They just added Zadarius Smith. He's an edge rusher. But what do you think about it? They don't have Aiden Hutchinson. This is still an excellent, excellent unit. You don't get to 7-1 if you're not doing things right on the defensive
Yeah,
side of
there's
the
no
ball,
question.
especially up front.
I think this line is a little bit more like the Packers, where I feel like the Packers were really, really good.
Yeah.
I thought their stud was Rashawn Gary. I thought Kenny Clark was very difficult to block, but blockable. I think they're more like that because you have Aleem McNeil, DJ Reader. It's going to be really hard to run the ball against them because those two guys against the run are really good. There's no
Mm-hmm.
Hutchinson, but Zarius Smith coming along. We'll see how much he plays, how they kind of try and fit him in. I think that's going to be kind of interesting. Zadarius had a great game last year in December, but then in the playoff game, he really got shut down. So I'm curious to see how we go about this on Sunday. So I think the Lions defensive front is probably I think it's a little bit better than the Packers, but I don't think it's as good as the Jets, because I think the Jets, everyone across the front can beat you one-on-one. Quentin Williams could take over a game. Now, I think Lee McNeil and DJ Reader are good. I don't know if they could take over a game. Quentin took over the game the other night. But then you had Reddick combined with Will McDonald, and you're sitting there going, well, dang, this record's probably not 3-6 if Reddick had showed up on time. And they could have had Reddick and McDonald going with Clemens, with Williams, with Solomon Thomas, all at the same time. And so I think a lot of people are I think we're going to look back at that Jets loss later in the year and go, dang, that's actually, it was frustrating at the time. And it was frustrating because you didn't play well. It was frustrating because you missed 2 field goals and then you fumbled on the 11-yard line, and you still got beat because Garrett Wilson made 2 incredible catches that probably aren't made by anybody in the same game again. So
hold on 1 second. When the Air Jordan catch happened in real time, I was like, that's a touchdown. I had no doubt it was going to get overturned. That's a touchdown. But that other one, that was a remarkable catch and run. I mean, and it got swallowed up by the Air Jordan one. Like, he had himself a damned game with just those 2 catches alone. Amazing.
And you end up losing by 8, and you miss 2 field goals, and you fumble the ball at the 11.
Yeah.
The Jets 11. And so, look, I also think there was a level of fatigue that set in for everybody. I think you could see it on everybody's face. I mean, to take the second longest trip of the year on a Wednesday to play on a Thursday night, it was tough. And, I think that's kind of why they just ran out of energy in the second half. Now they've got plenty of energy taking on a team that's explosive and really, really good. But they do miss Aiden Hutchinson. Let's be clear about that. They miss him. Za'Darius will help. There's no question. But in all honesty, to that end, I don't want to – I'm not minimizing or poo-pooing the Detroit Lions front. This is about our front. This is about our offensive line. Those 5 guys, whoever they may be on Sunday night, that have got to start taking some pride in protecting C.J. Stroud no matter what.
Yeah.
And they were just getting one-on-one beat the other night. And that's not – I mean, if you think about it, it isn't a bunch of day 3 guys up there just trying to piece it together. So the highest paid left tackles in the game. It's a first-round pick at left guard. It's a second-round pick you traded up for to go get at center. It's a guard that you brought in and then paid a bunch of money to a right guard, and it's a right tackle that you gave a lot of money to as a former first-rounder. You put a lot of resources into the offensive line. That group doesn't need to go out there and play that way. It doesn't. And we could talk about scheme this and all that. Yeah, maybe against the Packers and the Vikings, but not the other night. That was just straight up, we're going to twist once here. We're just going to go one-on-one here. And it was 33 pressures. And that shouldn't happen. I don't care how good the Jets offensive line happens to be or defensive line happens to be. So that to me is going to be the biggest thing. Now, here's the thought. Okay, well, maybe it's just not a good pass protecting offensive line. Okay, now Bobby Sloak and the offensive staff have got to say, all right, we just can't protect this. So how do we change it? Do we move the pocket? Do we boot? Do we run keepers and boots? Do we slide the pocket somewhere? Do we run our quick game? What can we take advantage of that's quicker? And the thing is, Drew, when I went back and I watched the game, I know people were like, well, it's not all about pass protection. Well, there were at least 5 plays that I saw when I went back and watched the full game, at least 5, where CJ's got pressure so fast that it negates a significant gain at a key time. A number of times. That plays that CJ has hit in the past, plays that CJ has hit this year, that if he just has a half second more time to hang in there, he can, because he's got such a quick release, he can zip the sail route to Dalton on the sideline. He can hit the circle route to Joe Mixon that was open. He could have hit the dig route to X, who's man up on a linebacker, and everybody wants, well, X can't get open, because all they're looking at are targets. But if you watch the film, X was open, but the rush is there so fast. And so he doesn't have a target, even though he's open and got 5 yards of separation. So, I think things get kind of lost and they get kind of muddied and, unclear when you face the Vikings and you face the Packers because of things that they do. But the other night, it was just It was Whip City, and that's got to be better this week. And as we're talking, my Twitter is up, and it just so happens that there is some cut ups of the Washington Commanders offensive line, and I'm just watching how they're protecting and giving Jaden Daniels time, and I'm like, if CJ had that time, he'd carve dudes up. It's simple as that, and he could do that Sunday night if he has the time.
Let's give him some time. Let's give him some time, and let's move now to our cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop.
Thank you, Randy Macho Man Savage. So we had some pretty good cream of the crop picks last week. I had Tank Dell. Tank Dell caught a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
You wanted the offensive line to play together. I thought that was a great choice. Didn't work out. And that's, one of the reasons why we didn't have a Texans victory. So if the Texans come away victorious and topple the 7-1 Detroit Lions and send them to 7-2, what's got to happen? Who is got to be your cream of the cropper? And I'm going to go first. And I am going to go with Danico Autry. Okay. I chose him as my sleeper in something else last week. He had 2 sacks. You're going to need him. And because we don't know yet about Will Anderson, but he's going to be banged up at the very best. If he's able to play, he's got a banged up lower leg. Hopefully he's going to be fine when he's out there. But Danico looks like he's settling in just nicely. Got 2 sacks. Gets to the quarterback. You need to make life tough on Jared Goff. I imagine the roof, there's a decent chance it's going to be open Sunday night because it's a nighttime game. It's not going to be hot or cold. So he doesn't do as well in outdoor games, although I'm saying that with a tongue in cheek. But give me Danico Autry as my cream of the crop award winner. I loved that addition when the Texans made it this offseason because he used to whip the absolute you-know-what out of the Texans over his career. I think he had something like 16 sacks in 19 games against us, whatever. I don't have the right numbers, but he got his when he played the Texans, and now he's not playing the Texans. He's playing for us. So let me go with Danico. Who's your cream of the crop award winner going to be, John?
Well, there's one guy I want to pick, but I'm not totally sure of his availability, and it's not Nico.
Right.
I'm not sure his availability either.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick a different guy as a result. Now, the guy I'm thinking of is Azeez Al-Shire because I think this team needs its compass back. And I think that Azeez is the compass.
It's been a very quiet omission the last few weeks. Not enough people have talked about it.
I've
and the guys behind him
in the hallways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
guys behind
this isn't to take away from anybody.
They're not Azeez Al-Shire.
Neville has played great. I mean, for what's expected of him, but Azeez is just a different type of leader, and just communicating with the front and the back and making sure that everybody is aligned where they need to be and on the same page. But I'm not sure of his availability. I'm not sure of Nico's availability. I'm pretty sure of Danielle Hunter's availability. And so I'm going to go with Danielle Hunter. And I think there are a couple of things. Danielle has faced this offensive line before. Now, that also means they've faced him before. And I know it's a different system that he's in, but when you have that understanding of what the opponent does or likes to do, it helps. So Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell know Danielle Hunter a little bit. Danielle knows them. And I think that makes for a really good matchup. So the question becomes, if Will doesn't play, are they going to send help to whoever's got to face Danielle? But I want to shake up Jared Goff in every way possible, because to me, as much as the run game has been great, it has been really, really important for Detroit to have that passing game as efficient as it is. Jared Goff's not throwing interceptions. Jared Goff's not throwing incompletions. He's not taking bad sacks. He's not making bad decisions. And I think the Texans have to force those bad decisions this week. And hopefully, if Will is able to play and you have Will and Danielle going as best they possibly can, then you're putting some pressure, at least at a minimum, on those tackles. And I think that's what you have to be able to do. And then Danielle's got to set the edge against the run. And so when you add in Danico Autry and Danielle Hunter, those two guys have to maybe not take the game over, but they have to significantly impact that game. So the Lions, Goff doesn't have 1, 2, 3 drop throw, 1, 2, 3 throw. It's got to be 1, 2, 3. Nope. Oh, nope. Oh, sack.
Mhm.
You gotta shake him up in some way, shape, or form. He's in that kind of role. And maybe if you start to shake him up and get his confidence off kilter a little bit, the better off you'll be in the second half. Where I mean, I almost made this. I thought about this, Drew. I thought about making the cream of the cropper the Texans' second half offense, because the second half offense has got to start putting points up on the board. It
John,
has.
it's essentially, I'm going to be off by maybe 1 or 2 here, give or take. 8 field goals and 8 touchdowns, maybe 9 field goals and 8 touchdowns in 9 games now in the second half combined. So that's about 10 points combined in the second half that you're getting. You need more than that. You need more than that.
Absolutely.
And a good chunk of that came in the win at New England, which was nice, and you got that. But if you take that New England win out, it's more like down to 6 points a game in the second half in all these, in wins and losses, I'm saying. So yeah, you got to get better in the second half after the break. I don't know what's happened there. I don't know what that's all about, but you must surge after the intermission. I like your cream of the cropper. I think it's a good one because it kind of dovetails nicely with mine. It's 2 dudes that are dudes on the defensive line. You signed them for this reason because you want to come out, get after the quarterback. You want to swarm on defense, and they're each one-man swarms at times. So I like it, man. I like it. And I like you, John. I like
like you
this.
too, Drew.
Yeah. It's a good thing. We'll be back after it next week, same time and place, but Sunday Night Football, Battle Red. I can't wait. I think.
Yeah, don't wear this. Don't you see this color? Don't wear this because this is really close to Honolulu blue, and I didn't realize that before we started this. Don't wear this color on Sunday night. Red.
It's all good.
Wear red. Wear red.
Just like that. And it's it's the first time we'll see those helmets too. That's gonna be fun too.
Yes. Yeah, the very first helmet that we'll ever wear without the bullhead logo featured on the sides. How about that?
Well, second time. Because remember with the H helmets.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
You're right. Second time. First time, second time, same thing.
This is the 4th helmet that will be worn in Houston Texans history because you had the blue ones forever. A couple years ago, you introduced the battle red ones with the which I thought those were sweet looking too. And then you have the H one, and now you got this one with the horns. It's going to look cool. All right, my man. Good to talk with you. This has been In the Lab, presented by Xfinity. I'm Drew. He's John, and you're you. And we wouldn't be able to do this if you were not you watching or listening. Love you. Bye-bye.